Hi everybody, this is Helen, and I'm a digital content intern here at the Buffalo History Museum. Welcome back to Experiencing Our Story with EOS, our bi-weekly video series in conjunction with the museum's podcast, where we discuss historical figures and locations here in Buffalo. This week we're discussing St. Vincent's Female Orphan Asylum, which, despite its lesser-known history, was the home to thousands of girls throughout the years.
John Timon was born in Pennsylvania in 1797. He entered Catholic priesthood in 1823 and was ordained in 1825. He became a missionary throughout the country and traveled throughout Texas, Indiana, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky, and Missouri. In 1847, Timon was nominated to become the bishop of the newly created Diocese of Western New York. The following year, in 1848, he traveled to Baltimore in order to obtain permission to arrange an orphanage and hospital in Buffalo. Buffalo already had orphanages and hospitals, however, they were run by Protestant establishments. They did not allow priests to minister to Catholics, so he created a new system of religious, health, and educational services that were specifically for Catholics, although it wasn't limited to any particular religious sect. As bishop, Timon was also responsible for the construction of St. Joseph's Cathedral on Franklin Street. Nearly 30% of Buffalo's population was Catholic at the time, and this provided the congregation a place of worship. He secured financial assistance from Pope Pius IX and European kings, including the gift of the sanctuary's stained glass windows from King Ludwig I of Bavaria. Construction began in 1851 and took 4 years to complete, resulting in a Gothic-styled cathedral based on England's Salisbury Cathedral. After Timon secured the approval to build the orphanage and hospital, the Sisters of Charity nuns arrived later that summer on June 3, 1848. They established the Sisters of Charity Hospital and St. Vincent's Female Orphan Asylum. The Sisters of Charity Hospital opened later that year in 1848 on the corner of Pearl Street in Virginia. Known today as Sisters Hospital, it has had several locations throughout the decades and is now located at the corner of Main Street and Humboldt Parkway. St. Vincent's Female Orphan Asylum opened next in 1849 during a cholera epidemic. Cholera was a common and fatal disease that was caused by contaminated water and infected the small intestine. St. Vincent's mission was to take in children that had lost one or both parents to the disease. This orphanage was originally meant to be open to boys and girls. There were additional cholera epidemics in 1851, 1852, and 1854, which increased the need for orphanages. St. Joseph's Male Orphan Asylum was established, allowing St. Vincent's to be exclusively for girls. The orphanage was originally at the corner of Ellicott and Broadway, adjoining with St. Patrick's Church. 6 years later, in 1855, the church was remodeled and incorporated into the property. St. Vincent stayed for 30 years before it outgrew that location. In 1885, the sisters purchased the Robinson Squire Mansion at Main and Riley and moved the orphanage there. The mansion was built around 1863 by an influential banker by the name of Alanson Robinson, who also helped found the Westminster Presbyterian Church of Buffalo. It was sold to George L. Squire, who manufactured agricultural machinery. The mansion was purchased for $30,000, which was the same amount paid for the first old orphanage. This mansion is the last of the remaining Italianate mansions that were built on Main Street in the 1850s and 1860s. St. Vincent's was a unique orphanage because not only did it house girls, but it also provided an education and technical training, which was a revolutionary concept at the time. When the girls turned 16 years old, they were trained in cooking and dressmaking. They also could not leave until their new homes and employment were secured and approved by the Catholic Charities. In 1898, St. Vincent's sought another expansion as they were turning girls away because they were running out of space. Buffalo's reputable architectural firm, Green & Wicks, was hired for the new building. This was also the firm behind the design of the Albright Knox Art Gallery and Buffalo Savings Bank. Construction was finished in 1899 with 5 stories and 13,000 square feet, with room for dorms, classrooms, workspaces, kitchens, dining spaces, and a chapel. With this new addition, there was now more space in the old building for the technical school. These dorms were the first institution in Buffalo to use running water instead of wash basins. In 1922, St. Vincent's also bought the adjacent residential property, and the G. Barrett Rich House was to be used as a covenant for the sisters. In 1935, another addition was placed on the property. Architect George J. Deitel designed a gymnasium that also served as an auditorium. Deitel also designed Buffalo City Hall with John J. Wade. By 1948, more than 10,000 girls had lived at St. Vincent's and earned an education. The Buffalo Illustrated Express wrote an article in 1899 about Buffalo's high society women who were constantly ordering gowns from the orphanage's dressmakers to wear to balls, and the girls were consistently fulfilling new orders. In 1952, St. Vincent's moved locations to the Wade Stevenson property on Bryant Street. The Green and Wicks building was turned over to be used by Bishop O'Hearn High School, and the Robinson Square Mansion was to be used to house the Bishop's Committee for Christian Home and Family. From 1971 to 1981, the buildings were used as Erie Community College's city campus before moving its location. Today, 2 of the 4 buildings are in use. The Robinson Square Mansion is used as a family planning center used by Kaleida Health, and the Rich Mansion is an established homeless shelter. All 4 buildings are considered Buffalo landmarks.